Hi there. My name's Tom, and today I want to go over kitchen cutlery because I've done a bunch of sharpening videos, and some of them were with utility blades, and some of them were with kitchen blades, and I just wanted to, go over my assortment of kitchen knives and my likes and dislikes, what I would say you really want and what you don't really need, the features you like, because the standard Walmart knife block of all serrated knives is actually pretty terrible when it comes to once you have experience using quality knives. Suddenly you get it. So these are all middle of the road knives. There's Willing Henckels. They were a brand that you would find at Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't know if they're still around because a lot of their stores have shut down. So you can order these knives, but I don't know where to buy them retail wise. I'll start with my favorite kitchen knife. This is a 6-inch Santaku blade. Now, I do have a crack in the handle back here, which is unfortunate. This knife is about 10, 15 years old. Um, from the day that I got it to today, it's my favorite knife. It's the one I use 90% of the time. Um, I have absolutely zero regrets. For a 6-inch knife, it's got a lot of heavy reinforcement and bolster there. It can still do some heavy chopping. I mean, not the heaviest, it's still a small kitchen knife. It's got just enough clearance for your knuckles and your hands if you're chopping, plenty of clearance if you're slicing. It holds an edge pretty well. Now, here is an 8-inch Santaku from the same company, and to be honest, it's a bit unwieldy for its shape and design. It actually feels way too light. You'll notice the bolster is not nearly as big, and it just it feels like it's harder to control this knife, and it doesn't add a whole lot of utility because it's so light. It doesn't give me increased chopping for very heavy duty vegetables like, a butternut squash or something really hard like that. So, on that note, here's my veggie cleaver. It's got an apple seed edge, which is to say, instead of flat bevels, it's got convex bevels going to the point. One day I'll actually draw that up on a whiteboard to illustrate it better. But that makes it split through heavy things like that butternut squash I mentioned a lot easier. It's super heavy, and as long as you put a decent edge on it, it'll get the job done. But that's not for everybody, Like, you don't necessarily need that to start out because these knives, they can run $50 to $80 each in these. Some you might see at 30 or 40. Uh, Here is my kitchen knife from that manufacturer. Just a basic standard kitchen knife or chef's knife, and I like it. Actually, this one is Wusthof. It's not Zwilling Henkel, but I believe it's I think they may have merged at some point. Anyway, I was okay with this knife until I started using my wife's chef knife. And this one is so much heavier. You know, you choke up on it, it's super comfortable. I don't know why these are so much easier to control than my 8-inch Santaku, but these 8-inch chef knives are great, and this one is super great. It is super heavy. You can see how thick the tang is, how thick and heavy the bolster is. And if you want something that'll do heavy duty chopping, it's got the weight. it's not as hatchet-like as your veggie cleaver, but it will definitely outperform these three knives for heavy chopping. Of course, there's the paring knife. You actually want this to be super thin, lightweight. You can put a razor's edge on there, you know, fine cutting, shaving, peeling. That'll do it all. And then, of course, there is my fillet knife, which is nice and flexy, but still, it's a little bit stiff compared to a lot of fillet knives, but it still has enough flex for me. And I actually use this, and this might be helpful to you as bird flu rages on, to, break down whole chickens. Now, as by the way, as flocks are currently being culled, you may see super cheap chicken available. Whenever you see 99 cents a pound, I would go ahead and buy that. The thing is, you can almost always buy whole chickens cheaper than cuts. And with practice, you get good at breaking down the chicken and storing the individual parts, and then you have the skeleton that you can use to make a really nice chicken stock, or bone broth as people seem to like calling it these days. The thing is, you can do that deboning, you can do that breakdown of the chicken with this 6-inch Santaku, and believe me, I did it for years. And you get good at it. But this is just more efficient for it. So this is an added expense, maybe a bit of a luxury. So I wouldn't buy this one, first. Me personally, if I were buying knives initially, I would get a nice heavy-duty 8-inch chef's knife like this one. Emphasis on heavy duty. Super thick tang, super thick heavy bolster, easy to control. I mean, I love it. And for the lighter duty, I would definitely go with the 6-inch Santaku. So if I were starting all over, those are the first two things that I would buy. And then I would buy, sorry, this cutting board's a little bit warped. Which, by the way, is why I have non-stick mat underneath it. So the chef's knife and the 6-inch Santaku come first. The paring knife I would buy third. Fourth, I would buy a fillet knife. And I would absolutely stop there. Just throwing it out there, what works best for you may not be what works best for me. But those are the considerations, those are the features I like, and these are all middle-of-the-road, decent quality knives. In 10 to 15 years, only one of them has seen any damage, and it's still a usable knife, and to be honest, I'd actually consider rehandling that instead of replacing it, because I've grown to really like that knife. Well, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great day.